Currently, I am sprawled on a rolling stretcher in Edgware Community Hospital. The road I have traveled to get here was, let's just say, a bit unpleasant. Earlier this day, my partner Michael was being his regular, narcissistic self despite all of the commotion. He tried to convince me the pangs were fake and were Braxton Hicks. I was to stop being dramatic, if that was at all possible. Well, his doubts were vanquished when I formed the puddle of confirmation on the floor. My assumption has always been that it would be perceived as though I was urinating, but it was out of my control. If my genitals and perineum didn't feel as though it was dipped in fatty oil, I doubt I would have been aware of the situation. It was more reminiscent of the involuntary spit your glands eject when you eat something sweet. It was a week early, so Mikhail wanted to doubt it, but when I landed on the living room floor, I think he got the picture. The foot of the stretcher smashes against the door and I feel a jolt of pain travel through my body, and it just entwines with the pain I already feel. Already I am enduring this toe-curling pain. It is like the pain you feel when you stub your toe on a table leg, or when you step on a plug or a Lego brick. However excruciating you may think that pain is, it is very brief. The problem with this pain is it lingers and it grows in intensity every second. I don't remember how all of this began. Well, of course the answer to that should be obvious. It was sex. I'm not that gullible. I just don't remember who. I'm a first-year student at Middlesex University, studying biochemistry. We have a lot of parties, as most campuses do. There was a party around 9 months ago that fits this puzzle nicely. That particular night, I got plastered on Jaeger bombs and Smirnoff. I don't remember anything beyond the first shot, but it wouldn't surprise me if I got intimate with someone. Too drunk to remember to put a rubber at the end of it. It seemed like a fun night. Until now. Abortion did cross my mind at the early stages of the process. Mom would never approve it, though. She is a stringent born-again Christian and hated the fact that I got knocked up before I committed to marriage. But she believes that the sin can be forgiven. I doubt she will feel the same if I commit something she regards as murder. She always reminded me as a child that Daddy left when I was in her belly. It would have been a devilish thought to have taken my life away, a life that belongs to the Lord. So I complied, and to be honest, I'm kind of happy with my choice. I am a Christian, just not a Bible basher like my mom, but I certainly have faith. If anything was to take the Lord away from my side, I would do anything to resolve it. Just deep down, this didn't feel right. I am too young to do this on my own, but if Mom could do it, I can too. Its fly past and flicker across my iris. Chemicals and crap fill my nostrils as I travel through the halls. Now I start to feel delirious. It was therapeutic, but the pain is making me loopy. Then a fist clenches around my stomach and my body tenses up so bad, I bellow another scream. Did I say stubbing a toe earlier? What was I thinking? I've never felt anything like this before. My mouth drools, spit flickers out in thick, gloopy strands as I yelp in pain. Tears fall down my eyes as my body feels like it is about to tear apart from the contractions. In my mind, the pain is only comparable to a dormant torpedo that is launched into my stomach. That little brat is in there squirming and kicking. It feels as though he's clawing at my uterus and with its nails and gnawing at it like a rat. I should have got that brat out with a coat hanger while I still had the chance. No, that is just the pain talking. Another set of doors hit the foot of my stretcher. A jolt of vibrations courses through my body. It is like it coincides with the motions of my contractions, somehow providing the kid strength to destroy my insides with whatever contraption he is using down there. Finally, I enter the maternity ward. It is a surprise that I noticed this, but the screams of other mothers crapping these disgusting brats out made me pretty aware of my surroundings. Also, the smell of crap and urine surrounds me. I am in too much pain to be queasy, though. Sat on the reception table are a pair of golden scales. It is rather unusual. It looks like it had been collected from the deepest corridors of Giza. What purpose could it have in a hospital like this? This is pretty weird, to be honest. I feel a bit like that poor guy who had that alien burst out of his chest in that old film. To my own damnation, I am one of those women who couldn't help but research on Google how it is supposed to feel. The cramps are supposed to feel like fists, the involuntary urinating and defecating, the tearing of my flaps when the child claws out for freedom. This just feels different from my research, to be honest. I can't quite put my finger on it. I guess this is why most women face the halo effect, so they can pop some more of those cheeky gits out of their vaginas. Now I'm facing pain so extraordinary, I cannot even begin to describe to you what it's like. Doctors tell you it's like your stomach is gripping like a fist, but I can confirm it is more like I have a cable tie wrapped around all of my internal organs, and it has been given a rough tug until it almost burst under the pressure. Mom pops her head in, her unbrushed hair swaying with a momentum. The doctors escort her out. I reach for her in my semi-conscious daze. Most days I wish somebody would take her Bible-bashing skull out of my sight. But when I need her, she is thrown out like a tramp in a McDonald's toilet. Michael is still at home, probably watching Judge Judy, waiting for me to complete this baby-popping gig. Somehow the cable tie tightens, now beyond what I thought it could. I can feel it click as it pressures against my kidneys, stomach, and liver. As my vagina flutters like a camera shutter, the feeling of sickness overwhelms me. I don't have the energy to puke, though. I don't know how I'm going to crap out this little dude. Of course, I know my cervix is about to open and it is all about to kick off. This is supposedly the fun bit. The bit where everything rips, everything gets messy. Soon I will face pain that I have never been through before, and apparently, when I feel that over-glorified heavy crap in my hands, I will love it. Right now, I don't feel capable of love. I just want to kill everything in my sight. Apparently, it's too late for painkillers, so I have to face it all naturally. If women stoned up tend to feel that much pain, I have no idea how I'm going to feel. Personally, if it is as bad as I think it's going to be, I think I should be able to have a medal like one of the Afghan vets. Perhaps even placed upon my gracious neck from Queen Lizzie herself. My bowels and bladder seem to open up with my cervix. The pressure is insane. If I didn't have a camel hump on my stomach, I would look beyond it to check if they had a highly efficient vacuum cleaner down there. I feel something squirt. The doctors wipe away this green mucus from my vagina. I have no idea what that was. It was disgusting. I can't believe women do this over and over again. There was that woman who had 69 children in Russia. 69. Mind you, I doubt she had a load of men peering into her pee hole like a microscope. I can visualize it now, that woman giving birth in a barn in the middle of a graceful green meadow, and the baby oozed out like toothpaste. I hate having all these men look down there. Not simply because it was a private area, but also because it isn't particularly flattering show that they have chosen to witness. They mutter amongst themselves after inserting a tool inside of me. It sounds like they are saying the number I am dreading. I just hope it isn't true. It can't be. 10 centimeters dilated. Almost time to welcome your baby into the world, Miss Portman. If you carry on talking to me like that, I will make sure someone is going to make a swift exit, sir. Now a rock lay deep inside my vagina. It is like I am crapping. I probably am, but it's way out of my comprehension. I can't do this. This isn't possible. I know God punished Eve with this, but why did Adam get off scot-free? Labor, hardship, that's all I got? I'll be laboring for all of this baby's life, and I know damn well that'll be hard. I push and feel my body tear to pieces. My vagina becomes just like an over-elasticated band. Once it reaches a certain point, the thing will just snap and my body feels as though it will tear in two. The doctors keep telling me to breathe, but the air is so dense with the smell of crap, my vagina feels like it's going to rip like paper. Passing my vaginal lips now, the head crowns and it feels as though I'm passing a hot melon. Now crap bursts out of my ass from the pressure of my pushing. It slicked across the bed like a thick souffle. It is passing through now. His nostrils clip against my vagina as it grates against it like a zip. Then I feel a pop in my vagina as it closes a bit around the neck. The damn thing felt floppy now, as if it had been raped by a pylon. The shoulder is passing next, but the stretching felt more elasticated as it oozed out like a smooth turd and the legs flop behind. Then I hear a high-pitched squeal. Somehow it makes my heart wrench with joy, but I also feel the urge to put an end to it. I don't know how that is possible, but that's how I feel. I want to lift that little rascal and cuddle him in my arms. It just amazes me to think that I have created that life. Through my hard work, I made that cry possible. Is this what makes all of this worth it? They wipe the thing off with towels and delicately wrap it in a soft woolen blanket ready to pass to me. I am so excited to hold the baby, to just move that blanket to see if I have a boy or a girl. Damn, I want a little boy. I didn't think I cared until now. However, they're just standing there with it in their arms. They are waiting for something. I just don't understand what. I'm sure I've completed the birthing process. Oh wait, I now need to pass the placenta. It is supposedly an easy part of the process. Just a veiny, bloody mass that will feel slimy but pass through like a deflated balloon. Something is wrong. I can sense it. The doctors are murmuring about something. Perhaps it is not supposed to take this long to pass the placenta? I think there is a problem. Why is this taking so long? I thought this was the easiest bit. Pain beyond what I have felt in my life bellows within me. A pressure closer to a vacuum in space than a vacuum cleaner entered my abdomen. I screamed in bitter agony. My legs kick at the doctors as they try to hold me down to no avail. My adrenaline pumps into my body and I feel like I am on high alert. Sweat mops across my face, slickly, in large gloops. Another pain pierces my body like a spear. I feel the placenta, but it is thicker than the baby. In fact, it feels as thick as me. Has this happened to anyone before? I scream as the other women seem to stop and cry as they watch whatever is happening to me. I don't know what is happening. I feel as though my soul is being sucked out of my body with a straw. The placenta wouldn't do this, would it? The placenta falls out like a rabbit dropping, but the pain lingers. I push and push, and the doctors try to hold me down. I push them off with tremendous force. One gets knocked back and lands on another birthing woman. She screams in agony. Another doctor approaches with a high dose of morphine to knock me out. I grab it and stab her in the eye. Now the pain is so strong that my face is frozen in shock. It all starts to escape. First, my colon is pushed through my vagina, lathering layers of crap on the bed, mixing it with the souffle I have already produced. My bowels pass next. It feels like I'm crapping out a thick layer of noodles. A poignant smell of excrement fills the air as the bowels release the watery fluid that would soon be made into the gelatinous mess we are more familiar with. Now my kidneys pop out like tiny balls, then my slimy liver, and then my stomach follows. My stomach bursts onto the table and dissolves through the stretcher. I kick my legs to keep them away from the corrosion. I don't understand how I'm still alive. I can't. I can't. Medical report for the morgue. July 1st, 2021. In regards to Julie Portman. A horrendous accident took place on July 1st, 2021. A woman in her early 20s died of abnormal circumstances. She birthed a baby in a quite natural way until it was time to pass her placenta. Then a cry, louder than any of the professionals in this hospital had ever heard, bellowed out of her. She then passed all of her intestines and died when her lungs deflated and passed through her vagina. Even after death, the process continued. Her brain followed, and from the current pressure was crushed into a mush. The bones soon followed after them, and they passed through the system. They crunched and snapped to fit through her empty husk and out of her vaginal cavity. They flew out as you would expect someone to spit out a broken tooth. This happened until she was a puddle of skin on the floor. We thought it was over, but it didn't stop. Her head began to close into her body in a grotesque shaking way. It snaked until it reached the vaginal area once more. Once the skull skin reached the vagina, it pushed and ripped through the skin as though the skin was wrapping paper. Julie turned inside out today, and that is the way we are giving her to you. That is the way she will be buried, and the rest of her body parts will be kept for future transfusions. I know this sounds absurd, something the medical industry has never seen before, but you have to see it to believe. It is heartbreaking. We have contacted Julie's partner, Michael, because the father of the child is unknown. Michael doesn't want to take possession of the baby, so we had to send him into foster care. This is a memory that would never leave my mind, and I promise to keep everyone involved in my prayers, especially that poor child. A quote from the biography of James Portman. A lot of people seem to remember previous lives through a phenomenon known as deja vu. However, most kids aren't supposed to remember their births. Somehow, I remember mine. The memories are foggy, but I know my mom died when she gave birth to me on the 1st of July, 2021. It was a freak accident that has never been quite explained. I remember the smell of it, even as a newborn covered in my own crap. I could smell the abhorrent scent. I remember being put in a crib next to her empty husk. I looked at her crying as all of the doctor's attention was on her, and I was in pain of my own. For a brief moment, though, the doctors left the room, likely to get the attention of another team to help them. This is the part I remember most vividly. It was strange, but for those brief moments, a man dressed in moldy rags entered, holding a set of golden scales. My mom's placenta laid floating in some kind of brine in a container below. He lifted it, blood dripping through his fingers. The smell was so potent. He then plucked a hair out of her head and placed the placenta on one side of the scale and the hair on the other. I don't remember what weighed more. My memory blurs past that. The biggest thing I remember is the doctors returned and escorted her out of the building. I was then put into a foster home. Even as a kid, I constantly didn't forget about those scales. Nightmares haunted me. I could see them flash in my dreams. I faced a lot as a newborn, so I never allowed myself to forget. It haunted me to an age that I wouldn't forget, then the memory stuck. The scales still haunt me. When lightning strikes, I sometimes see the silhouette form in the flash of light. It haunts me as it did to my mom. The pain of childbirth taken to a different level here. Quite unfortunate for old Julie. What if that son never really knows exactly what it looked like or what happened to his mother? Huh. Either way, hope y'all enjoyed that one, however much you could. If you enjoyed it, again, as I always say, please let me know by liking, subscribing, commenting, interact with me. Until then, until next time, this has been Hero's Edge.